Today's coverage brought to you by EA Sports and the PGA Tour. This is Rich Lerner alongside my colleague Frank Novelo for EA Sports, calling all the action for today's event. We are here at Wolf Creek Golf Club. It's located in Mesquite, Nevada. Frank, if I didn't know that it was Mesquite, Nevada, I think we landed on the moon and they built a golf course here. This is just mind-boggling.
Yeah, 100 years ago, you couldn't build a golf course like this here. Obviously, all the equipment needed, but in the end, it's wonderful. It's an absolute playground for anyone that sort of loves to play the game. It is desert golf, obviously because of the terrain, but the green oasis that cuts in between is each hole. It just sort of gives you a totally different experience because you keep having to remind yourself you are smack bang in the middle of the desert. Oh, beautiful swing, and the result is every bit as good. I tell you, there's long and long, and that, with a little bit of breeze behind, it's long.
He rode the wind there to payday. He's going to have a good look coming up. Good-looking shot right here. Just a phenomenal approach shot, and now a great chance for an eagle. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. -2 early in the round. Frank, there's so many impressive holes here at Wolf Creek, but the second really stands out.
Yeah, that tee box, is it 9 stories high? It's hard to imagine you can tee up that high, and obviously trying to judge distance is one thing, but also just the visual that you get. Well, a hard hole after that tee shot has now become an easy hole.
It's the great equalizer. When you can drive the golf ball, Frank, just like that, boy, it opens up so many avenues, and he'll have plenty to choose from here. Looks good. Chance to make a birdie. And it is in.
Amazing. Amazing.
Now on to the third, first of the short holes here at Wolf Creek. Uphill shot, Frank?
Yes, it's going to play a little longer because of that. Then it's 227 yards off the back tee. Hard to imagine you have a par 3 in amongst this desert. And really, that's all it is. Tee and green. There's not much in between. Well protected, as you can see, by those bunkers. And this green a little smaller than what you'd like for a hole that's around that 230-yard mark. This is straight at it.
It's a really good line. Terrific golf shot. And now that for an easy birdie.
Second shot.
So, Frank, what do you think of the start so far?
Rock solid. Very impressed.
Here at the fourth, 383 yards from the back tee. It's a dogleg right, but Frank, looking at all of those bunkers, you could really make a mess of this hole if you stray.
You can. That's why you've got to simplify it. Just something there that's going to find the fairway. Even like 3-wood and a wedge, that's really all this hole's going to require. Avoid the canyons on the left and the desert, as well as just, I don't know how many bunkers there is on the right side. So a little bit of fairway up the left, find that there, and really you should be looking at a birdie putt. Safely on deck.
Oh, can't hide the flagstick from that man. Frank, this would be a nice way to jumpstart the round.
Yeah, his momentum can quickly go in the right direction if he makes this.
How about this hole, Frank? Par 5 fifth.
If you stand on this tee for the first time, you've got virtually no idea where you've got to aim. Do you aim it left of those bunkers? Do you aim it over the sort of the canyon? Really, the answer is how far do you hit it, because that is going to determine the line that you hit it on. Avoid the water, that little stream, but you can always have a drink on the way if you want to, I guess. Second shot plays uphill, but this is a relatively short par 5, so very reachable. But you've got to see, you've got to flight that second shot. You want to make sure that ball's coming in nice and high to this green that's perched up.
Frank, what do we have with this approach here to the par 5?
A good tee shot across that stream there is going to leave an uphill second shot, and this green is raised in the front, very narrow between those two bunkers. It's going to take something rather special to carry the ball up high enough and land it soft enough to keep it on this par 5 and 2.
Crucial eagle attempt on the way. Moves to -8. Here at the 6th, 447-yard par 4. Pretty good hole, Frank.
Yeah, probably a layup hole, too, for the longer hitters. Something out there around the 280, 290-yard mark to make sure you don't go it in the stream. Obviously, it's a dogleg right, as you can see. The canyon on both sides is sort of well-defined, so you know where not to go. Second shot plays a little bit back up the hill to a green, once again, that's anything other than flat. It's fun. You've got to make sure you get that ball on the right tier if you want to have a birdie putt here.
Frank, it makes the game easy when you play it from the fairway.
Especially when you play it from a lie like that.
Looking to keep it going here, Frank.
Yeah, another example of things just working as they should.
And it makes the green in regulation. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. Goes to 9 under with another birdie. Well, everybody loves the short par 4, and here we have one, Frank, just 302 yards, the 7th hole.
And this hole is anything other than straightforward, Rich. Huge drop off at the front of the screen that is surrounded by water. So it's going to be a layup off the tee, really, to try and get the right yardage. This green is very, it's not very deep, but it's extremely wide. The hardest thing is to try and get a flat lie with whatever club you decide to hit off the tee and get the right yardage. Otherwise, that green actually might be a little elusive, even though this is a very short hole.
Well, couldn't have done much better than that, and the eagle is looking very likely now. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Par 3/8, 248 yards down to the green. What a hole.
Yeah, maybe you put your two hands together, make a little prayer. You might make two, but make 3 here and run to the next tee. This is it's just a gorgeous par 3, but it is tough. Every bit as tough as what it is pretty, as a matter of fact.
Appears to be a smart shot, Frank.
Yeah, no problem here. That's going to fly all the way.
He's making the game look very simple right now. See it, hit it, and he's got it right on track. Shouldn't be a problem here.
Oh, I thought they'd at least pick up a shot. Birdie looked like a sitter. Now at par.
That is a solid par putt. Finishing up this front side here at the par 4 ninth, 390 yards. And what are we looking at, Frank?
Well, it looks relatively straightforward, but it's anything other than that. Decision time again. Do you lay it up into that wide area of the fairway? If you're a longer hitter and you are out here to have a little bit of fun, then maybe you want to take the head cover off because you'll get a little bit of an advantage if you can drive it over that last bunk on that right side, or at least take that out of play, because you're only going to have a short pitch in here.
Frank couldn't ask for anything more.
Just the lie there, too. It is sitting up like it's teed up.
Well, that's how you play the game, right there. Getting set now over the putt. Building something very special, a 12 under par. Well, that was a nearly flawless performance on the front side, but Frank, we know it's an 18-hole game, isn't it?
That's right. Now's not the time to pat yourself on the back. What a great shot.
Frank, that is position A.
Yeah, the tee shot was like silk, Rich. I mean, just sets up that second shot so beautifully.
This is a good-looking shot. That's how you play the game, right there. Stick it in close, and then knock in the birdie. Really has a feel on these greens. That is another birdie. This is impressive. We're here at the downhill par 3 11th hole. Frank, it's 215 yards from the back tee.
This hole certainly is not for the faint of heart. When you look at that tee shot, you think, oh my God, what do I do from here? But remind yourself, it's 215 yards and really only about 160, 170 yards to green grass again. But it's 215 yards. That should be the club that you're trying to pick. Green's big enough, just persuade yourself that. Try not to look at the canyon and the desert. There is a green down there. The hole is playable.
Can't hide the flagstick from that man.
He is just unbelievable. That never deviated offline.
Nails it. That is now 6 birdies on the card. From a par 3 to a par 5 here at the 12th. It measures 560 yards, a sweeping dogleg left, and there is some trouble down that left side.
This is a scary tee shot. There's no two ways about it, Rich. You've got to get the ball in play because you can really rack up a good score here. That water very much in play. Doesn't matter what club you decide to hit off the tee. 560 yards actually is reachable, believe it or not. But you've got to get it on the fairway. You don't really have to be too brave and try and take too much over there. The other thing, too, to consider about is this green is nearly half the length of an NFL football field. It is 55 yards from the front of this green to the back of the green.
couldn't have done much better than that. An eagle is very possible. Settles in over the putt. Count it for an eagle. Now to the 13th hole, and, I don't know, should we just fly it over the mountains, Frank?
It looks like that, but then you better find dry land. 350 yards, but as the crow flies, it's probably just a little over 300 yards. I don't know if the mere mortals would really want to flash it across that desert ridge. You probably want to play a little left of it, have a little pitch up the hill, but if you're one of the longer hitters, why not just try it, see if you can make it.
Well, this one should be safely on deck here. I mean, that is a sight to behold. What a spectacular shot we just saw on the par 4 with a drive in one.
Give me a break, Rich. Your mum could make that.
Ooh, that's a disappointment, Frank. Just a couple of feet. Just drip that in.
Well, it's 4 1/4 inches. Use it all.
14th hole here at Wolf Creek. Time to pull out the driver and as well the foam because you want to take some pictures here. Yeah. What a spectacular view.
Stunning. You can see a whole panoramic sort of 360 degrees right around this golf course. Then when you flick back and actually look at the 14th hole, there's 6 bunkers, 3 really in play with the tee shot, as you can see, the other 3 just up by the green. Anything to the right of those is preferred, unless you want to be playing your second shot out of the canyon or the bunkers. Green should be fairly receptive, and 3 distinct portions, which is sort of a common trait here at Wolf Creek. That's sort of 3 different tier levels and that. But let's see, birdies are to be made at Wolf Creek, maybe even one here.
Wow, Frank, he is dialed in.
Yeah, that was just some shot on that. Easy birdie.
He is on a roll right now. Now to the short par 3 15th hole here at Wolf Creek. What is this, Frank? Just a wedge or a 9-iron?
That's all, Rich, but it's very tempting to get greedy here. And, well, you pay the price, obviously, if you miss the green on the left down on those bunkers because they're, well, a good 6-7 feet below the level of the green. But with a wedge or a 9-iron, who doesn't go aiming at the flag? This is like cyber vision. Shot after shot, right at the flag.
Just dialed in and getting ready for the putt. Continues to amaze. Yet another birdie, and what a day it's been. Short par 4, 16th hole, measures only 393 yards. But Frank, as is the case with pretty much every hole, despite the yardage, there's plenty of trouble.
It does. It plays tricks on the mind's eye here. It looks like it's a dog leg going one way, then back the other way. But really, it's built as a straight hole just across the canyon. And that's the way you've got to play it. I don't think you can drive the green, even the longest hitters at 393 yards. But just a nice drive down there. Take the bunkers on, get it past there. And before you know it, you've got a little wedge in here. And it should sit up nicely for a birdie.
that is classy.
He had a chance of going in. See if he can just make one more, add to the list.
And he has it for birdie. So 2 holes left to play. Now the final par 5 on the course, 562 yards, the 17th.
The drive looks relatively straightforward. And I say that because there's a little creek down there that obviously you have to stay short of. But that's the fun part. They want to keep you back in an area where you go, can I hit the second shot across the stream, across the water, and still keep it on the green? And the answer is, I don't know.
Excellent drive, Frank, right where you want to be.
Well, with a good shot here, Rich. This eagle on the cards, hole very reachable from where he is.
Don't get many opportunities like this. This is a good place to take advantage. Frank, which way is this headed?
Judging by his body English, looks like it's heading a little right. There is a bit of green out there, though.
Oh, what a shot. Setting up for an eagle here. Not a gimme, but well within his range. Good putt. Now the closing hole here at Wolf Creek. Frank, what's ahead of us?
You could try and drive at this green, but there's too much trouble, really, Rich. Even though this hole's just over 300 yards, it's very ambitious to try and drive it across that water. Some might try. Most people try and hit a tee shot 240, 250-yard mark, and, of course, you do the maths, you're only going to have 60 or 70 yards in, and, well, they want you to finish on a good note. So a good drive in the fairway here, or 3-wood, pitch it on the green, make a 3, and buy your friends a drink in the clubhouse.
Drivable par 4, not for most in this field, but for this guy, yes, he has just knocked it on. What a shot. Hello there. Really nice putt. Frank, you have to like what you saw out there today.
I certainly did. Swing is excellent right now. Stroke, there's nothing wrong with that. Really, just it's a case of getting out of your own way. I mean, the opportunities ahead now, chance to win, just they have to be so motivating.
This is EA Sports, PGA Tour coverage coming your way. Hello again and welcome, Rich Lerner, alongside my friend and colleague Frank Nobilo. We're here in the state of Nevada getting set for what should be a wonderful day of golf. Wolf Creek Golf Club is the site for the action. And Frank, this really is the definition of desert golf. It is spectacular.
The green oasis, Rich, amongst this canyon area is just something to be seen, really. It's hard to imagine you can actually build a golf course like this. Elevated tees, huge changes in elevation, and you're sort of weaving your way around this magnificent sort of topography. And to be honest, I've never really seen a golf course like this. It's just an oasis. Amazing.
Here at the first and ready to get this round underway. How do you handle the 597 yards from the back tee here on the par 5, Frank?
The elevated tee, Rich, tee it high and let it fly. Get it down there far enough though so you can reach this par 5 and 2. There is a little bit of water down the right-hand side. Really, that shouldn't come into play unless you're got into a spot of bother off the tee. But a good drive down there. Hopefully avoid those 11 bunkers that surround this hole. And it's easy to see where the green is because it's right underneath that rock crop behind it.
Frank, he could make eagle right here with a really good approach shot.
Yeah, well within his reach too. And Rich, if we just sit back and relax here, I think we're going to see perhaps a very good look at eagle coming up.
This one looks like it's headed right for the middle of the dance floor, Frank.
Rather nice shot, I would say.
He's hit it very close, and he will have that, Frank, for an eagle.
It's amazing how quickly the round changes. He'll quickly pick up 2 shots on the field.
To -2 early in the round. Frank, there's so many impressive holes here at Wolf Creek, but the second really stands out.
Yeah, that tee box, is it 9 stories high? It's hard to imagine you can tee up that high, and obviously trying to judge distance is one thing, but also just the visual that you get.
Frank, did you hear the sound of that coming off the club face?
It was like a cannon.
And that's going to stay on the fairway here at the second hole. Well, he's going to have to hit the same club a lot harder or just hit another one. Just a pure strike and a perfect result. He'll have a good look at birdie now. Shouldn't be a problem here. Well done, and 3 under for the day. Frank, 227 yards from the back tee here at the par 3 third. This is all you want.
Well, that's for sure. Plays a little longer than that, too, by virtue of playing uphill. Thin air might negate some of that. There's going to be a good shot just to keep the ball on the green. One of the smaller greens here.
Really good distance control there, playing well to his strengths. Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. That puts them at 4 under for the round. Back to the tee here at Wolf Creek. A lot of sand along the right side of this fairway leading up to the green, Frank.
Yeah, I can't even count how many bunkers they got down that right side. It's easy to see where not to go. So obviously you want to get that ball up on that left side. And then really it's just a short pitch across. Yeah, this hole's only 383 yards. And it won't even really play its distance. But, of course, you've got to be careful. It's not long, but fairway first once again here. You can see all the problems around there if you do miss this fairway.
This is a good-looking shot. Well, that is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's a formality now.
Frankie seems to have found something. Already 2 birdies in a row and now another chance.
Yeah, it's all starting to flow here. This is really important. He's starting to play well, so finish it off here for 3 in a row.
We're in the desert, partner. I need water.
You're going to get it here, Rich. Par 5 second hole's got a nice stream that runs down the left side as well as cutting the fairway. There's a crop of some 3 bunkers down that right side. I want to avoid that, but, Rich, this hole isn't too long. Under 500 yards, not even going to play that long. So very reachable.
Good strike, good lie, good chance to attack the pin. This could be a huge momentum swing here, Frank.
Yeah, one more good swing, and he's going to have an eagle putt coming up. I know you don't want to get ahead of yourself, but it is well on the cards.
Appears to be a smart shot, Frank.
Yeah, no problem here. That's going to fly all the way.
Just a sensational shot, and he will have that for an eagle.
Amazing. Just like that, pick up 2 on the field.
Now to 7 under par. Here at the 6th, 447-yard par 4. Pretty good hole, Frank.
Yeah, probably a layup hole, too, for the longer hitters. Something out there around the 280, 290-yard mark to make sure you don't go it in the stream. Obviously, it's a dogleg right, as you can see. The canyon on both sides is sort of well-defined, so you know where not to go. Second shot plays a little bit back up the hill to a green, once again, that's anything other than flat. It's fun. You've got to make sure you get that ball on the right tier if you want to have a birdie putt here.
Paying attention like a little kid at school, Frank. That baby's sitting up.
Sitting up. It's got the best view as well. You don't even need binoculars from where that ball is.
Superb shot.
Well, that's as good as it's going to get. There's going to be no worries about making that one.
Getting set now over the putt. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Now onto the par 4 7th hole. Is this a reachable par 4, Frank?
Distance-wise, you would think so, but the designer has done something to avoid that, and it's put all this water in front of the green. It would take a mammoth tee shot, and that's something like 300 yards through the air if you're going to try and even drive this green. Is the risk worth it? Well, if you're just playing with your friends, maybe it is. Otherwise, you just lay it up, just past those those bunkers on the right and the left. Get it down there on the flat. A little pitch you would think is simple, but because of the slope of this fairway, chances are you might not get a flat lie, and that's going to make that second shot that much harder.
Good swing, good shot yet again. Great effort right there, and a great chance to knock in that short putt. These putts keep the round together. That's an eagle. Frank, the par 3/8 really is Wolf Creek in a nutshell. It's hard, and it's really pretty.
It is, and it's really long, too. Just under 250 yards off that back tee. Slight bit of elevation, but you can see from the tee, obviously, where you don't want to go and where you do go. If you're a little, tender of heart, then aim for the right side and avoid all that water down the left.
Terrific golf shot. And now that for an easy birdie. So a tester from 4 feet. Well, the great hits just keep coming. Moves to -11 on the day. Set to round out the front side here at Wolf Creek with a par 4.
Fun hole for the big hitter, too. They can really take advantage of this. The last fairway bunker down there on the right side is just over 300 yards to get over it. And longer hitters could nearly drive it in the greenside bunker on the right. So just tee it up there. You're playing desert golf for a reason. Enjoy it. Just have a little flick in here. A chance, too, to have a little birdie at the end of your front nine. Happiness is a long, 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 long walk after that one.
Strong approach shot here at the ninth. And a good opportunity to finish this side with a birdie. Settles in over the putt. Just an unbelievable round thus far, and 12 under on the day. Setting up to start the back nine here, and if it's anywhere near as good as the front nine, Frank Hill will be very happy with his score at the end of the day.
Yeah, the hardest thing right now is to just keep doing the same thing without focusing on the score. It's fine.
And now it's right in his wheelhouse, good position where he can attack the pin.
Yeah, he has all those options now. That ball's sitting up. You can bring it in high. You can bring it in low. The choice is yours. Oh, solid strike right in the heart of the green.
Oh, can't hide the flagstick from that man.
Well, Rich, if he can make this one, add it to that string of birdies.
And generating some momentum now. Continues to amaze. Yet another birdie. And what a day it's been. Safely aboard.
Second shot.
And he has it for birdie. From a par 3 to a par 5. Here at the 12th, it measures 560 yards. A sweeping dogleg left, and there is some trouble down that left side.
This is a scary tee shot. There's no two ways about it, Rich. You've got to get the ball in play because you can really rack up a good score here. That water very much in play. Doesn't matter what club you decide to hit off the tee. 560 yards actually is reachable, believe it or not. But you've got to get it on the fairway. You don't really have to be too brave and try and take too much over there. The other thing, too, to consider about is this green is nearly half the length of an NFL football field. It's 55 yards from the front of this green to the back of the green.
And they're close, about 8 feet from the cup. Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. And he has it.
A good putt redeems all.
13th hole, and Frank, Wolf Creek is really kind of a macho golf course because you can stand on a tee like this and say, you know what, I'm going to take this one over the mountains.
And then, if you do, then you flip the coin. Is it in play or is it out of play? This is one hole. You just you realize you're in the middle of the desert, that's for sure. And one hole that you think, if I play this hole a couple of times, I might just get the hang of it.
Couldn't have done much better than that. An eagle is very possible. Frank, it's one thing to jumpstart your round. This would ignite the round.
Yeah, you don't normally see two par fives back to back, so the chances of having consecutive eagles is so rare.
So the eagle goes begging. Still has this for birdie. Just a couple of feet. And drops it in. 14th hole here at Wolf Creek. Time to pull out the driver and as well the foam, because you want to take some pictures here. What a spectacular view.
Stunning. You can see a whole panoramic sort of 360 degrees right around this golf course. Then when you flick back and actually look at the 14th hole, there's 6 bunkers, 3 really in play with the tee shot, as you can see, the other 3 just up by the green. Anything to the right of those is preferred, unless you want to be playing your second shot out of the canyon or the bunkers. Green should be fairly receptive, and 3 distinct portions, which is sort of a common trait here at Wolf Creek. That's sort of 3 different tier levels in that. But let's see, birdies that to be made at Wolf Creek, maybe even one here.
Nothing to argue about there, right in the fairway. Well, he's going to have to hit the same club a lot harder or just hit another one.
There's a big green, and they're going to use every inch of it.
What a display of shot making this has been, Frank.
Oh, that incredible approach shot there. The easiest of birdies coming up.
So they'll tap in the hole for birdie. Here at the 15th hole here at Wolf Creek, bit of a breather here. Nice short par 3. You don't want to miss this green.
No, that's the temptation there. If you try and bite off a little too much because it looks a little too easy, then a bogey here and you're in a bad mood all of a sudden at Wolf Creek.
That will be a great look at birdie. Frank, this would be huge.
Oh, it's got that strut going, everything. This is when that hole starts to look a little bit bigger. You really feel like you can start to make everything.
Good putt. Now to the 16th hole as we get set for the finishing stretch. And Frank, what's the best way to play this relatively short par 4?
Somehow you've got to straighten the hole up in your mind's eye, Rich. Just look all the way across that canyon and look like the hole was built straight, because really that's the way it should be played. If you start looking left and turning it into a dog leg, then all of a sudden bad things can happen. So look straight at the green. That's your line. Just try and bisect those 2 fairway bunkers.
Well, the tee shot has landed in the bunker. In the greenside bunker, Frank, little bit of a problem. Well, that is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's a formality now.
Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. Simple, solid, and he'll take it.
But one that you need to make.
So 2 holes left to play. Now the final par 5 on the course, 562 yards, the 17th.
The drive looks relatively straightforward, and I say that because there's a little creek down there that obviously you have to stay short of. But that's the fun part. They want to keep you back in an area where you go, can I hit the second shot across the stream, across the water, and still keep it on the green? And the answer is, I don't know. That's a ginormous tee shot. Well, with a good shot here, Rich. This eagle on the cards, hole very reachable from where he is.
Don't get many opportunities like this. This is a good place to take advantage.
Surely not.
That is an excellent play right there. The approach, giving him another good look. Not a gimme, but well within his range. Just dominated this hole, and he ends up with an eagle. 18th hole, and Frank, again, a good scoring opportunity. Short par 4.
Yeah, if you looked at the scorecard, you'd think you could drive this green, but one quick look at the trouble in front and to the right of the screen, and you realize that's probably not the prudent play. Really, something 230, 240 yards off the tee in that vicinity is going to leave you just a flick wedge into this green. It is a rather narrow green, but from that distance, you'd expect to hit it close. It was almost like that's what he wanted to do, but why would you want it to run over the back?
This is the second shot at the par 4. Great way to finish off the final approach shot with a birdie opportunity. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Frank, I have to say, I've been impressed by the level of golf today. Really came out here with a solid game plan and executed.
And consequently, a very solid round. Continuing with that kind of play can certainly put you in the winner's seat.